Election results. Trump, of course, gained 276 of the 270 electoral votes needed to secure the presidency. Reaction has been pouring in all day long. We want to bring in our NBC 10 political analyst, Wendy Schiller. Wendy, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So, Wendy, we saw Trump sweep a lot of the so-called blue wall states. How do you think his campaign ended up winning over those voters?
Well, I mean, it seemed across the country what the Democrats thought was their stronghold, middle class, working families, mothers, reproductive rights, all these issues they thought would swing voters to them were overwhelmed by people's concern about the economy, particularly inflation and housing costs. And they just didn't see the Democrats focusing enough energy on those kinds of issues as opposed to other issues that seem to be the core of the Democratic Party platform. And I think that's really, in the end, what drove a lot of the suburban voters that voted for Joe Biden in 2020 back to Donald Trump.
Yeah, the economy ended up being such a big concern this year. Now, do you think there's something the Harris campaign should have done differently to change the outcome? Or do you think that at the end of the day, that's just how they ran their campaigns and Trump targeted the economy more and therefore, like you said, won over those voters?
I think Kamala Harris actually ran the best campaign she could have run in the time frame that she had. But, you know, the Biden administration closed the border in June of 24. They should have closed the border in June of 23. The Republicans had 3.5 years to hammer them on undocumented immigration. And I think a lot of people didn't really care about that. But then as it spread across the whole United States, people started to really pay attention. And they didn't see responsiveness from the Biden administration. So it was really untangling from the Biden policies and blaming Biden for a year ago inflation, even though it's very low now. You know, that cost a lot of people a lot of money, and they are still angry about it, as we've seen. Whether Donald Trump can keep what is now a very good economy going, keep the momentum going, we're about to see. And now the Republicans will govern the country, and they will be responsible for the economy, and we'll see how that all goes.
And as you just mentioned, Wendy, I mean, with issues like immigration, we really did see that trickle across the country, including here in New England. And Trump actually gained a lot of ground with voters here in Rhode Island, which is typically a very strong blue state. Is there a message that the Democratic Party needs to take home from this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Democratic Party was the party of giveaways. I mean, they weren't really, but that's what people saw. You know, student loan forgiveness, putting migrants in hotels, you know, feeding them, you know, their children are going to schools, but there isn't an economic productivity in that group yet. So I think a lot of people who are doing all those things and pay taxes said, wait a minute, what are you doing for me? And I think the Democrats have always been the party that does address healthcare and educational needs. But in this case, the messaging got really lost. And in fact, I think the policies need to be redirected by the Democratic Party if they want to be competitive in future elections.
Very interesting, Wendy, and it'll definitely be an election and an election cycle in general to remember. Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now moving over